We have already destroyed 100% of Iran's military capability, but it's easy for them to send a drone or two, drop a mine, or deliver a close-range missile somewhere along or in this waterway, no matter how badly defeated they are. Donald Trump posted that on Truth Social on Saturday, March 15th, day 16 of the war. Read it twice. In the same sentence, Trump claimed to have destroyed 100% of Iran's military capability and acknowledged that Iran is still fully capable of conducting drone attacks, laying mines, and firing missiles. 100% destroyed and easy for them to continue are not two positions on a spectrum. They are a single sentence that refutes itself. The rest of the post: many countries, especially those who are affected by Iran's attempted closure of the Hormuz Strait, will be sending warships in conjunction with the United States of America to keep the strait open and safe. He named China, France, Japan, South Korea, and the United Kingdom. He called it hopefully. He said it was going to be a team effort. He said hopefully. Iran's IRGC Navy Chief Alireza Tangsiri responded on X within hours. He did not address the coalition claim with alarm. He addressed it with mockery. Americans falsely claimed the destruction of Iran's navy. Then they falsely claimed the escorting of oil tankers. Now they're even asking others for backup forces. Falsely claimed. Falsely claimed. Now asking for backup. From a man who commands the force Trump says is 100% destroyed. Here is the complete picture of what the coalition claim actually means, and what happened in the same 24 hours it was posted. Ian Bremmer, president of Eurasia Group and Z0 Media, cited by CNN on Saturday, identified the core analytical problem with Trump's Truth Social post in his segment. Trump claimed to have decimated Iran, and then called on other countries to help secure the strait. The logical chain only works if Iran is not, in fact, decimated. If 100% of Iran's military capability is destroyed, no coalition is needed. One destroyer could open the strait on a quiet afternoon. The fact that a coalition is needed is itself proof that 100% of Iran's military capability is not destroyed. Bremmer's analysis: it could play out in several scenarios, but the fundamental problem is the one the IRGC Navy Chief stated explicitly and Trump's own post confirmed implicitly. Iran's armed forces issued a separate statement on Saturday through Iran's Fars news agency that removes any ambiguity about what a coalition entry into the strait would produce. If this happens, all oil and gas infrastructure in the region, in which the U.S. and its allies have interests, will be set on fire and destroyed. All of it, not some of it. Every oil terminal, every pipeline, every LNG facility in the Gulf that America and its allies depend on. Saudi Aramco's export terminals, the UAE's Fujairah port, which was already suspended on Saturday after a drone attack and fire, with crude and refined product loading halted as a precaution. Abu Dhabi's ADNOC terminals, Qatar's LNG export infrastructure, the facilities that Gulf states have been using as the alternative to the closed strait, the Red Sea bypass route, the Yanbu terminal, within range of Iranian missiles and the Houthis simultaneously. Iran is not threatening the strait alone anymore. It is threatening every alternative route, every alternative terminal, every alternative exit for Gulf oil in every direction. And Trump's response to that threat is: hopefully, China will send some ships. Let us check the actual responses from the 5 countries Trump named by name, because naming them does not mean they agreed. China. No confirmation. China's foreign ministry, as of Saturday, has not committed to sending warships. China's interest in the strait is real. China receives approximately 40 to 45% of its oil through the Strait of Hormuz, making it the single most dependent major economy. But China has also been diplomatically engaged as a potential mediator, dispatching a special envoy, participating in ceasefire discussions, and maintaining communications with both Iran and the Gulf states. Xi Jinping discussed the war with Trump in a call this week. The discussion's content has not been disclosed. China sending warships into a U.S.-led coalition against an Iranian position that China has not endorsed would contradict China's entire diplomatic posture in this conflict. Response: silence as of Saturday. France. France's Charles de Gaulle carrier strike group is already in the region, deployed not under Trump's invitation, but under Operation Aspides, the EU-led defensive maritime mission that Macron announced before this Saturday's post. France is in, but France is in under its own framework, with its own rules of engagement, for its own strategic reasons. France joining a Trump-declared coalition and France operating independently under EU mandate are politically and legally different things. France has not confirmed the former. Response: already deployed, different mandate. Japan. Japan is the world's third-largest economy and one of the most oil import-dependent nations on Earth. Approximately 95% of Japan's crude imports transit through the Strait of Hormuz. The economic case for Japan deploying is overwhelming. The constitutional case is complicated. Japan's pacifist constitution restricts its military to defensive operations. Response: silence as of Saturday. South Korea. Same oil dependency calculus as Japan. Same constitutional constraints on offensive operations. South Korea has been engaged in diplomatic back channels but has not committed military assets. Response: silence. United Kingdom. The UK said no to combat sorties from British bases. It then said yes to specific and limited defensive purposes. RAF Akrotiri was then struck by an Iranian drone, the first attack on a British base since 1986. HMS Dragon, a Royal Navy Type 45 destroyer, departed Portsmouth on March 10th and is en route to the region. The UK has assets moving. Whether those assets are joining Trump's coalition or maintaining Britain's independent interest in free navigation is a distinction the UK government is carefully preserving. Response: assets en route, political framing contested. Summary: Trump named 5 countries. None confirmed participation in his framework. 1 is already there under a different mandate. 3 are silent. 1 has assets moving under independent framing. Trump's post contained one specific military statement about what America will do while the coalition assembles. In the meantime, the United States will be bombing the hell out of the shoreline and continually shooting Iranian boats and ships out of the water. Axios reported that before military escorts of commercial ships begin, the U.S. military is planning operations to take out the land-based anti-ship missiles that Iran has deployed along the strait. That is the suppression phase. Trump confirmed it on Saturday. The sequence: bomb the shoreline to destroy the launch sites, then escort the tankers. The specific problem with that sequence is the one Brian Clark of the Hudson Institute named in his analysis from 3 days ago. The challenge is going to be dealing with the proximity of the drone launchers and the missile launchers that are going to be along the Iranian coast. The coastline is 150 kilometers long. There is no perimeter the U.S. military can seal from the air because there is no fixed boundary. Every civilian building is a potential drone launch point, every fishing boat a potential mine layer. ASPI's Phil Radford called the attempt to control the coastline Gallipoli times 10. And while the bombing of the shoreline unfolds, while land-based missile sites are being targeted along 150 kilometers of Iranian coast, the oil price will not fall, the insurers will not return, the tanker captains will not sail, the strait will not open. It will only open, if the suppression strategy works at all, after weeks of additional operations, which is what the Congressional Research Service's official report to Congress said on March 11th, days, weeks, or perhaps months. The Fujairah port, suspended on Saturday after a drone attack, is the specific evidence of what bombing the shoreline produces in Iran's response calculus. Iran does not need the strait to project power. It needs a drone. And it is demonstrating that every oil exit point in the Gulf is within range of that drone. Here is the Day 16 scorecard, the numbers that exist behind the "hopefully China will send ships" post. Brent crude, trading above $103 per barrel on Saturday, WTI above $100. The G7 coordinated SPR release, the largest in history, 400 million barrels, has been announced and is being executed. Oil prices dropped temporarily. Then the Fujairah drone attack happened. Then Iran's "all infrastructure set on fire" statement came. Prices climbed again. Ships attacked. 19 merchant vessels in 16 days. 8 seafarers confirmed dead. 1 missing. The Thai Mayuri Neri, whose burning images went around the world. The Liberian Express Rome. The U.S.-owned Safe Sea Vishnu. And on Saturday, the Fujairah port, the Gulf of Oman terminal outside the strait itself, the backup exit, targeted and suspended. Iran's Foreign Minister Arakchi confirmed on Saturday that the strait is only closed to ships from enemies specifically. Ships from countries Iran does not consider adversaries, China being the example, can transit. This is the specific leverage Iran is operating. It is not randomly closing the strait, it is using the strait as a geopolitical filter, allowing its allies and neutral parties through while blocking its adversaries, which means reopening the strait for American allied tankers requires either defeating Iran's shore-based capacity entirely or reaching a diplomatic arrangement. The bombing the shoreline strategy addresses the first. The "hopefully" coalition is not a replacement for the second. It doesn't seem like they had a plan for the Strait of Hormuz to be closed, and it seems like a desperate move in an information campaign to calm markets, said Andreas Krigg of King's College London, cited by Al Jazeera Saturday. He said there was no quick military solution to reopening the strait, as all Iran needed to do was strike occasionally to keep insurers away. Occasionally. Not constantly, not massively, occasionally. 1 drone, 1 mine, 1 missile. That is the asymmetric math that 100% destroyed does not resolve, that a coalition of 5 silent countries does not address, and that bombing the hell out of the shoreline across 150 kilometers of Iranian coast will take weeks to suppress, if it works at all.